demos. Okay, cool. So for the demos, Lizzie and Olivia, do you two want to go first?
Sure.
Is it okay for me to go? Because I gotta
Oh,
go afterwards.
oh yeah, that's totally fine.
Go for it.
Thank you, thank you. So I'll do both the demo and also the code walkthrough. Cool. Can you see my screen? I can see my screen actually. Okay, cool. As you can see, so now the items are ranked based on days until next purchase. If the days are the same, they will be ranked alphabetically based on name. So I think demo portion is pretty easy. So I'll just go to the code base directly. And I think this week is kind of continue the theme of making the app smart. And before we start, let's review this function because we will use it like a lot of times. So number of days between dates with 2 inputs, so 2 dates. And then get time method, try to refresh your memory, is a method to convert days to milliseconds. And then we'll do some math magic here. And then once we find the difference, then we'll convert back to days. Okay, so let's go to list item JSX. So this is where we rendered item urgency. As you can see from the demo, based on the logic, we'll render zoom, kind of zoom, not zoom, inactive. And if date last purchase is not null, and the evaluate result of number of days between dates with 2 arguments, date last purchased. So to date convert, I believe, Firebase timestamp to a JavaScript object. And with that and today, if that result is greater or equal to 60, then we'll return inactive. And else if difference of days. So difference of days is a evaluate result of number of days between dates, again, with 2 arguments, today and date next purchased. If that is less or equal to 7, then we'll render soon. If difference of days is less than 30, then we'll render kind of soon. Else we'll return not soon. So let's scroll down a little bit. That line 100 is where we'll render if what's purchased is not truly, so we'll rendered item urgency. I believe the reason why we want to do that is if we click on it, I'll start it's not changing, so it will render a different stream, so that might confuse the user somehow. So we decided to I know Viviana has that question, so we decided to make it disappear if we purchase that item. And then let's go to list.jsx. So this is where the sorting is. The sorting, why this is a sync function is, I believe, to date is returning a promise. So let's go to the compare purchase urgency function in firebase.js. So what we want to do is, based on some logic, we'll push some items to either inactive list or active list. So the logic is if the date last purchase is not null and the evaluate result of date last purchased and today is greater or equal to 60, then we'll push that item to the inactive list. And then if date last purchase is null or the evaluate result of number of days between dates with argument date last purchased and today is less than 60, then we'll push that item to active list. And then we'll concat. We want the inactive list at the end, so that's where we're concating it. And then we need the sorting logic coming in. So we create a function, sort by urgency and name. What we're doing is we're sorting it in ascending order by days until next purchased. And this is what we're doing from line 158 to 161. And then if the days are the same until next purchase, then we're ranking it alphabetically based on name. Alrighty, let's go back to list.jsx, and then, yep, so the async function, and then we'll set new data to sorted data. And we'll also catch the error if there's error. And the reason why we used to use the fact is what we found is if we keep calling this function, the whole app just froze. No matter what we do, like when we're trying to, when we're trying to search, or maybe it's because it just keeps calling for each rendering. And then we used to use the fact, and that solved the problem. Maybe there's a better way, we just don't know, but this kind of solved the problem. And then we use a map method to render, and thanks for Tim. This is a bug like I think all of us tried to find, but we just couldn't find it. And then we just changed data.id, and magically it solved the problem. So the problem was, I believe, on the page in one session, it just randomly disabled the checkbox in one session for some reason. But now that problem is solved. And then if there's arrow, sort arrow message, then we'll render the arrow on the page. I believe that's everything. Hanson, do you want to add anything?
No, I believe that's everything. I think the rest would just be the actual demo, right? Or did we go through that already?
I think I did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good job. I think that's everything.
Cool.
Yeah, really good job walking through all of that, Yufa. This is definitely like a very complicated issue. I am curious for the to date then. I'm not familiar. That's why I was like forming my review and like questions, as I wasn't really sure. Like I don't know if Tim or Lauren, you have like insight on this, but having to date, does that need to be in a try catch then?
I don't think so, but I'm not totally sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, because what we found is if we're not doing it, we found the result returning is a promise for some reason.
Well, it's because compare urgency is an async function, which it doesn't need to be, right?
Oh.
So if you remove the async from compare urgency, then you can remove the asyncs and the awaits from everything else. Because if you make something an async function, that means that it will return a promise, basically, no matter, even if it's not doing any like asynchronous things.
I don't recall why we use async here. Do you recall, Hanson?
No, I think we were just so deep into the code. We were just, somehow the async popped in there. Yeah,
it happens.
Noted.
That happens.
Yeah, so no need for the async.
Okay. Cool.
Nice. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Nope. Okay. I did want to talk a little bit about the sorting stuff, but we can talk about that after we've done the demos. Do you guys want to is that fine, Lauren, Tim? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, great job, Yufa and Hanson.
Although I think Yufa has to leave. So if there's something you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't on like the PR itself. I was just curious about, because Tim and I were talking about this earlier, about just whatever the function is, calculate, estimate, returns. Because I noticed if we like click all of them, I think they all just change to soon, which I think is what the AC and like the whole like instructions kind of leads to. So I feel like everything was done correctly, but I'm just curious, I guess, why that is the case. I don't know if that makes sense. So has nothing to do, Okay.
I know every time we get stuck, we always go back to the original, like the ticket, and then I think that's based on the ticket. That's what we need to do. But yes, I'm open to talk about a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know if Tim, you had more to say on that, if I explained it well.
The calculate estimate function is like kind of a thing that I had a problem with when I was a Collabby, and I feel like it's just kind of written wrong in my opinion, in that if something hasn't been purchased, it'll set the purchase frequency to the difference between the date the item was created and the date it's purchased. Which like if you add an item and set it like, oh, I want to purchase this in 14 days, like next time, but then you purchase it like immediately, then it'll just set the difference to like, a day or whatever. Which I feel like is just, this is like a pre-existing issue with the calculate estimate function. But I think that's why, you ended up wanting to remove the tag on purchase things, just because like that's confusing. And so, there's not really, there's nothing I don't think you could have really done about it, but I think it's just something interesting to note. In the project that I worked on, I actually ended up like, after it was over, I ended up forking the repo and actually making my own calculate estimate function, because I was just like, I don't think this makes any sense. So it's just like it's just something to think about in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, because it would be nice to be able to still keep the soon, kind of soon, not soon, even after it's been checked. But then, like how we said, it just goes to like soon, 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 soon for every item. So
like the theory is over time, it will get like closer to what your actual purchase frequency is, because like, the first time you make it and you purchase it, and then it'll be like 1 day. But then if you actually like wait 14 days before you purchase it again, that number will slowly like increase over time. So like it does become smart, but I feel like it's just, that the functionality I feel like is just kind of just a little off for the first purchase that happens.
I see.
I believe Olivia and I were trying to find the actual function, but we couldn't find it. We didn't really know how that result is calculated.
If you look at, so it's an npm library, so you can actually like go to npm.com, or I don't know what, just like Google npm and the library name, and it has its own page, and that'll have a link to a GitHub repo, because it's on, it's in the Collab Lab GitHub repository, I'm pretty sure.
I think I could see it in the node modules, maybe. I remember peeking around in there.
That's probably true. Good call.
Just to like see.
Yeah, if you go to the calculate estimate function where it's first called, I don't totally remember where that is, but
I don't remember either.
Where is it? Is it in
think
Firebase?
It's in Firebase, yeah.
Firebase?
Yeah, but I
So
remember
just
being like,
scroll to the top of Firebase for me.
Okay.
So right click on that.
Oops.
And go to definition. Just one little thing down. Not type definition, but definition. It's the second. And so that's where it's declared. It's TypeScript. So maybe it's want to go back to the Firebase thing real quick, or go to implementation. Maybe it's go to implementation. Sorry. That was weird. Oh yeah, it's the top little window, or maybe, or no, that's just the same thing.
No, yeah.
Never mind. Shot in the dark.
Yeah, we try to click run it and then try to find the source.
Source definition?
Is it? Oh, source definition.
Source definition. Hey, there it is.
Oh, here we go. So yeah, I think just that first, if total purchases is less than 2 return days since last transaction, I think that's the one that is making this weird. Which like it doesn't read like it's wrong, but I'm not sure what you're actually passing to that days since last transaction, like in the function in Firebase. Yeah, I remember we had this exact same conversation. I was a Collabby too, and I remember how we did it. This doesn't mean if it's like the right way to do it, but I remember how we did is like the first time you click it, it doesn't change what the initial estimate is. So even if you click it once, it'll still keep it as like not soon or kind of soon. And then it's like the next time you click it is when it actually does start changing. But I guess maybe since we have like this time for like designing and stuff. If you guys want to think about maybe changing it, you can, but also like it is technically correct how it is. So it's something we wanted to talk about. Yeah, I think that was it. That's all I wanted to share about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I know it's
Tricky.
Yeah.
No, but great job either way. This one, yeah, I remember struggling with this one a lot when I did it. So
cool.
But yeah, if you need to go use that, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I already wrote my appreciation on the board. So
oh, that's so nice.
thank you all. And yeah, happy Mother's Day if you're celebrating.
Bye. Okay, now Olivia and Lizzie.
Cool. I can do the demo, Lizzie, if you want to talk about code after.
Sure, I'm happy to.
Cool. So we had a much less meaty ticket than the other team. But yeah, we were in charge of doing the delete button, which is pretty simple. You can just go delete. And then it says, asks you to confirm, are you sure you want to delete apples? You can hit cancel, or if you hit OK, then the apples will delete and they are now gone. And you can do the same for, we'll do chocolate too. Yeah, pretty simple, but nice and much easier to test things now that we can just boop, boop, boop things away.
Yes, it is. All right, let's show you the code. Okay, can you guys see my VS code?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so here is where we added the button. So each list item gets a button next to it. And then that button, whenever you click it, triggers handle delete. So let's go back up to handle delete. Handle delete is first going to, that's where the confirmation message comes in. So are you sure you want to delete this item? And you can either cancel and it goes away, or click OK and it will delete item. So it takes the list token and then the item ID. And that's it.
Nice. I really like that you guys included the name of the item too. I think I mentioned that in my comment, but yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, that was a Hanson call out.
Yeah. We didn't think of that.
Good shout out.
Awesome. I love how much faster that one was. Okay, cool. I'm gonna paste the thing in the chat for the retro. So everyone here is pretty fast at entering. I'll like check in again in like a couple minutes and I'll share my screen. But we could take just a few minutes to write some things. Are people still working? Olivia, I love your cat. Okay,
One
Viviana
more
says,
minute. Sorry. One
sure, no
minute.
problem.
Sorry.
Xena wants to be the star of the show tonight.
Cats are always the star of the show.
Every time she hears voices coming from my computer, she's like, new friends? Maybe I'll get pets.
Aww. Mine only care about the food. They're friendly cats, but they are very motivated by food.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cool. Where's my share screen? There we go. Okay, great. So looks. I know Yufa left. Whoops. Sorry, I'm trying to expand this so I can see you all. Oh, okay. I know Yufa left a couple, so we'll start with those. She said, "Oh, this is Lizzie's." Oh, sorry. Wow, I'm a mess just trying to read these. This is great. Okay. Yeah, the last two tickets we worked on were pretty challenging. It was great to collaborate with both Olivia and Hanson. Yeah, it seemed like you all work really well together. Lizzie, do you want to read yours?
Yeah, sure. I wanted to thank Olivia for working so efficiently this week. She was in the first week of her new job. And so it was kind of challenging to find a time because we have a pretty big time difference between us. And Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I have to go in for my day job. And anyway, we wanted to get it done, but also I wanted to go to office hours. So basically, it meant we only had like an hour to work, but we did it and we got it done. And that only would have been possible with us agreeing to look at the ticket ahead of time and kind of do some pre-work before we sat down to get it done. So thank you, Olivia.
Oh, and thank you for putting up with me because my brain was spaghetti this week. So it was great. We had a good time coding, so it worked out really well. Thanks.
As it should be. First week on the job.
Oh, and this is also from Yufa. Thank you especially to Tim and Viviana to help us with our bugs, estimated next purchase date, and sort shopping list items tickets. Nice. Yeah, you guys left great review comments.
Yes, this one's for me. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Lauren and Tim. I messaged you guys last minute on Sunday. I was so embarrassed to do so, but thank you both for offering to help me with code review. And then Tim was so nice and even hopped on Huddle with me to help me through some of my questions. So they did not want to leave any like incorrect reviews or anything like that. So yeah, that was great. Thank you both. I am definitely a much better React developer because of you too. So.
Oh, there we go. Olivia.
Yeah, just thanks, Tim, for going over testing and office hours. I think it was really great to like get an overview of this whole new thing that I haven't done yet in coding. So it was really, really great. Thanks.
What kind of testing did you go over?
A lot of kinds. Yeah. Yeah, we did unit testing and we did React testing library.
Cool.
Like end to end or integration. I never know what the difference is.
I'm very appreciative to Tim and Viviana for taking care of things while I was out. Special shout out and thank you to Tim for covering me for code reviews. Really appreciate it because I was in Costa Rica and totally out of it. And both of you are really insightful, specific. I think the word I was looking for is like practical in your reviews, but something, you know, I think you provide a lot of really great insight that's invaluable.
Yeah, this one's me. Yeah, just great perseverance working through the sorting issue. I think every group I've ever seen work on that issue has struggled, including myself, because I worked on that issue when I was a collab, and I remember it being very confusing. But yeah, great job.
That one's mine. I know I hear a lot of offices are forcing workers back to work, but I want it to be noted that if that happens, we'll never get to see each other's pets. So let's all stay at home.
That is so true.
Yeah, your cat's really cool, Olivia.
Thank you. She's one of a kind, that one. Yeah, I love the collaboration this week. It was great hearing everybody's opinions and problem solving together. I feel like it was really like all hands on deck from both us and the mentors, and it was just it was fun to still be involved in that like meaty ticket without having the mental weight of that meaty ticket this week. So I think it was just fun. I feel like we were the most collabby this week.
That's good.
Oh man,
Thanks,
it's
Lizzie.
gonna sound like I'm obsessed with cats. I don't have a cat. I haven't since I was a kid. But I was having a hard day at work, my day job, on Thursday, and I checked my Slack and I saw that and I just got a chuckle. So thank you. I love what a fun group this is.
Anytime. I can up the cat GIF game anytime.
15%, please.
Yeah, I feel like I've been out of the loop the past 2 weeks. But I love how this team just keeps going and getting things done. And yeah, you all have been just so on top of it. So I'm really impressed with what I've been checking the channel as we go, and just to try to stay a little bit more in the loop the past couple weeks, and that was really cool to see.
Oh yeah, Yufa was not here, but I thought she did such a great job covering the demo and the code walkthrough right now. That was a lot to go through, and she did it really concisely, and it was really fun to watch. And this is me again. Oh yeah, I wasn't involved in this at all, but it was so nice seeing like all the messages in the thread from everyone trying to figure out the bug together, and like yeah, how it's Tim and like all the rest of you. It was just so cool to watch. So yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the issues got merged into main without mentor approval, which is just one of those things that like you might not want to do on a real job. But I know it was there's time crunch like from all sides, so it happens. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, just picking. I should have said this more professionally probably, but just picking back off of that, I should not have waited until Sunday morning to do code review. So it's my bad. The weekend got away from me.
Yeah, and I was realizing in general earlier in the Collab lab, because the issues were smaller, I think things are getting done a little earlier in the week. But since they've been a little trickier, it's taken a little longer, and therefore it probably would be helpful for the devs to know which mentors are reviewing so that you can ping specific mentors, just and communicate that way. So at least for the last 2 weeks, we'll let you know who's assigned that role. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I guess we're done. Does anyone else have anything? Otherwise, I think we're good on retro.
Yeah, I wasn't able to sign in on my phone and put down anything, but I just do want to say thank you again to the mentors. Really helped out with the tickets, and like everyone else said, I really the last couple of weeks we've been really collaborating on the issues, and I think we've been having the most fun. So thank you guys again.
That's so great to hear.
You know what always stinks at this point is that we'll probably never get to meet each other in person, even though remote work is so cool. But it would be nice to have a final cheers party or something.
That would be cool.
Get a bigger budget.
You need a Collab Lab HQ for that to happen.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Cool. Well, let's go over the issue that will take up the last 2 weeks. I'm kind of fighting off a cold right now, so forgive me if I randomly mute myself and cough a bunch. But yeah, so let me share my screen. So we're still going to break up into pairs, but what those pairs do is going to be more up in the air. So yeah, the pairs this week is Yufa and Lizzie and Hanson and Olivia. But yeah, so issue 13 is, as a user, I want the app to look professional and welcoming. The last 2 weeks of the project will function a little differently than the rest. Your team will self-organize around a lightweight design process to come up with a polished look and feel for your app. This will require you to make decisions together as a whole team, then implement your vision. The process outlined here is our best suggestion for how to proceed, but you're free to take whatever approach you see fit. You'll notice this is the last issue on the board. That's because the expectation is for you to write the story. The story is needed to complete the implementation of your design direction. As always, lean on your mentors for guidance if you're unsure how to proceed. And so a little bit about the design process. What is the tone you're going for? What feeling are you trying to convey? come up with 3 to 5 words that best capture how you want users to perceive your app. And again, these are suggestions. And this week, we're really like, we know that you can get the work done. So we're letting you all self-lead yourself and organize. But these are some helpful things to get you started. And then number 2 is create a mood board. A mood board helps everyone get on the same page in terms of the direction in which you want to take your design. Add elements to your mood board that represent the tone you're trying to achieve. And I don't know what this link is for. Oops. Yeah, I guess this is a mood board service. So that's an option. And I know some of the other ones are, oops. What's the other one? Mira? Does that sound right? People? Anyone use that? I don't know. And maybe I'm forgetting what it's called. Otherwise, yeah, there's a few different mood boards out there that you can use. 3, decide on the fundamental elements of your design, including the following: typography. Google Fonts is a good choice for finding web fonts you can use in your app. Colors, make sure they're accessible. Let's see if this link does. So yeah, you can plug in some colors you're thinking about using, and I think like you can find this in the browser, in the dev tools, perhaps. So yeah, just make sure the colors you choose are accessible. Icons and imagery. So there's a lot of free icons you can use. This one is Canva, which I'm not familiar with, this is just where to find free icons. This is probably even like old at this point. There's Hero Icons is nice. Lucide, I think, has a lot. Yeah, this feels pretty old school, but there's I feel like UI libraries have come a long way over the last couple of years. So I'm not sure if these recommendations are going to be up to date necessarily. Then yeah, decide whether you want to code vanilla CSS or integrate a CSS framework or a library like Tailwind. But there's pros to cons to each, and we'd be happy to talk about that, or you can obviously talk about it amongst yourselves. Vanilla CSS gives you more control, but it can be harder and or take more time to achieve a given effect. Frameworks help you get things done faster, but often at a cost of not giving you full control over the design. And if you choose a framework, evaluate your options and make sure the one you pick will suit your needs. Consider the following: quality of documentation, ease of integration, built with accessibility in mind, and activeness of the community. These are things that you can maybe find by going to the docs page, going to the GitHub page, and kind of see when's the last time this was updated. But yeah, here are some of the big ones that I think are all still fairly reasonable. Bootstrap, Chakra UI, Material UI, Semantic UI, and Tailwind. And then there's a bunch of kind of what they call headless UI libraries that use Tailwind that kind of just help you create certain components. I guess headless UI is one of them, and then Radix UI is another one. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I won't assign anyone because this is just gonna be the last 2 weeks, but you're all on this and so I think the idea is that you can maybe organize, and then you can create issues if you want for different parts of the process that you're going through. I don't know why this is open, but I'm just gonna close it because it's finished. Yeah, and people have any questions, thoughts? I didn't really prepare for this at all, so
So clarifying question about the process, will we just kind of hash this out on Slack?
So again, that's up to you. Obviously, when people have hard schedules and stuff, like asynchronous communication, that's the value of asynchronous communication, right? Is that you'll be able to kind of work on it separately. But yeah, maybe start on Slack and then decide a time to come together and split up whatever parts of the design process you decide you want to do. But yeah, I would say just starting on Slack just right away is going to be smart, because you're kind of also self-pacing yourself these last 2 weeks. So good to just like get as much information out there as possible so that you just so you know like what the scope is, right? So you can, I think breaking up those issues like early on would be smart. And yeah, maybe, you know, the different pairs you can kind of like one pair does typography colors, one pair like chooses a framework, like stuff that's just like kind of the general thought process, I think. But again, this is like totally up to you how you want to approach this. I think, I mean, maybe it would have been nice to have a few different like finished options to show you, but I don't know. Like some teams I know will like do like a total rebrand of the whole thing and make it almost like, you know, think of it from like a business perspective of like, oh, what kind of shopping, like a shopping list app that a store might use or something like that. Or other teams are just kind of you know, just go for a general styling and leave it kind of like utility and neutral. So that's kind of the direction is really up to you and your styling personalities.
I think I'm trying to remember when I was a collab person, collabby. We used Material UI. So because we were like replacing components, we just broke out, we made our own tickets and kind of assign them that way. And I think we decided to make like or they might have recommended that we make like a styling branch so that we could merge all of, if everyone was working on these smaller things, they could be reviewed and merged there. And then the mentor reviewed that styling branch. So that's something you could do. I know another group that we worked with did Tailwind, and I think they must have broken it up into subtasks, but yeah, they kind of just like assigned different parts so that the whole app was covered. What did you both do in your groups?
We used Tailwind and like made our own components. And I think initially, yeah, that first week we kind of split up in terms of typography. It was really just like the first few days, you know, somebody chose some typography, somebody chose some colors, and then chose some icons. We kind of just did it very democratically in that way. And then chose Tailwind and kind of my group only had 3 people, so we actually like mob programmed like the whole time. So we were always like working as 3 people together. And so yeah, we kind of just went through one by one the components and rewrote them in Tailwind. So that's probably not helpful, but
well, just as you can do it a million different ways. So
yeah. Yeah, I think that idea. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go finish your thought, Tim.
No, I have no thoughts.
Okay. For my team, which I think is a really good idea, is we worked on just for the design part, like not the development part itself, but we worked on a Figma doc that we were all on. I feel like that's really nice if you all throw your mood boards on that and then kind of compare, because we all had, at least for my team, we're all very opinionated on like the design of it. So I think it's good to everyone have all your designs in one place, like your mood boards, and then kind of decide the direction you want to go. And then as for like wireframing and stuff, I was only a group of 3 as well. So as a group, we did the wireframes together, like first like very bare bones. And then once it was done, I was like, okay, now let's add some color. And then like just more detailed each layer time. But you don't have to do all of that. I just really wanted to do it like that. That's like the design process. But yeah, and then it's same as Tim and Lauren said, once we had the design down, then we broke it up into components, made all the issues, and then developed them. So, but if you guys aren't all opinionated on design, I could see you guys splitting it up. But as for my team that I was on, yeah, we all wanted it to do together, so we all liked how the app looked.
Totally. Does anyone have like framework experience, like any of these different UI frameworks, or does anyone like want to add a new framework to their like, you know, to their resume, so to speak? Like, do people have thoughts about anything like that? Probably stop sharing at this point.
I worked really hard to learn Bootstrap, and then a few months ago I was told, why are you using Bootstrap? It's so old. You have to learn Material UI. So I started learning that. It's different. I'm not very good with it yet, but that would be a fun one to practice with. But I'd be interested in doing any of the frameworks.
Yeah. The role that I'm in, we're currently transitioning away from Material UI to like custom, like full Tailwind components. So that's, I mean, interesting. But we use headless UI and kind of want to use Radix UI. That's like, I feel like those Radix UI is like maybe a little complicated for this. At least I found the docs fairly complicated, but
Yeah, my work, we've used Material UI in a lot of things, and like because if you're familiar with some of those frameworks, you can get stuff spun up really quickly if you're doing, for instance, we do a lot of solutions projects that are time sensitive, so we can, but I know one of the projects we just started, they're doing Chakra UI, and I've heard great things about Tailwind too. So I'd actually, or personally, I'm thinking this is like making me think, oh, I need to go do that.
yeah, I love Tailwind. Not gonna lie.
Cool. Well, really great work this week. I really enjoyed watching you all make magic happen. And thanks for calling in from the car, Hanson.
I know.
Lighting
Yeah, I
is
didn't want to
great,
miss. I didn't want to miss today. It's a little hot. I'm not gonna lie.
actually. Arizona.
Oh yeah, you're in a car in Phoenix. Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's
I was
brutal.
actually, I just got into California. I was driving from Phoenix, so I just like pulled over and then I thought I'd hop in. So
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, I'm in
Okay.
Seattle right now, and it's like 90 degrees. Like I don't understand what's happening. I'm
Are you
Southern
there for work?
California, and it's like way hotter. What's that?
Are you there for work?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. And Olivia, how was your first week?
Exhausting but good. It, yeah, it's been going really well. I don't know, I've always done like in person to start at a job, so it's been interesting adjusting being 100% remote. Also, my last job was very, I don't want to say micromanagey, but like it had that vibe where like everybody at 9 a.m. would be like, good morning, or stepping away for lunch and like good night. And this job is like not like that at all. Like on Friday, I didn't hear from my manager until like, I don't know, almost lunch. She's like, you good? And I was like, I'm good. She's like, great, let me know if you have any questions. So like that's been fun. Yeah, and I'm like learning a lot of new stuff with this like GSAP library, which is like feels very niche. But it's good. I'm liking it. I feel good. It's like it's all come together. The plan happened. We're moving forward. So it's
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
What kind of thing
Remote
do they
work,
have,
the best.
what kind of thing did they have you working on in the beginning?
I'm making my whole job exclusively is making banner ads. So it's a advertising agency. Yeah. So
Cool.
it's interesting because like there's a lot of stuff that I've like learned in my boot camp and like by myself that my manager's like, we don't like throw it out the window. Like she's like, none of our clients care about accessibility, so we don't do it. And she's like, we never use text, it's always images of texts. And I was like, okay, cool. We're just learning lots of unlearning lots of stuff.
Brutal.
So I don't know, we'll see. But I like it so far. It's fun to like, it's fun to get paid to learn something new for the first time in a long time.
So true.
Yeah.
Does it seem like the turnaround time on the jobs is really fast? Like, do you have, I guess you've only been there for a week, so maybe that's like just, I don't know if you know, but I've
No,
heard working at agencies, it can be tough like that.
I was scheduled for 2 weeks of like full-time training. They have all these like training tickets that I've been told to like take my time, work through, like experiment, ask questions. But they're so busy that starting tomorrow, I'm working 2 hours a day on a Lexus ad. So I'm right into real work.
Wow.
So we'll
That's
see
cool.
how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my work used to do like learning days once a month, and then we all got so busy that no one did it. We just started doing it again, or like taking some 2 half days a month to do it. And I've been meaning to learn like to use TypeScript and React for a long time. So I just found this video on YouTube that I actually have really enjoyed. It's like just very practical about how to, I didn't want to learn just TypeScript. I wanted to see it in a React app. And so if anyone is interested, I'll share the link, but it's not a very long thing. It's like an hour and a half.
is it by Matt Pocock by any chance, or do you know?
No.
That he just released for free a TypeScript for React Devs course like 3 days ago or 4 days ago.
Oh, can you send me
And
that
he's
link?
he I will I'll find it, send it to you. He is like the TypeScript wizard. Like I've entirely learned TypeScript just from like following his tweets, like alone. You know,
Wow.
he's very
Wow.
good. So I haven't actually looked at this at TypeScript for React Devs yet, but I'm
Do
assuming
you
it's
ever
going to be
feel
awesome.
stuck?
Yes, please send it. I would really love to. Because I was
Cut
just
the
thinking,
cable
even though
with
this one is
Fios-Home
cool,
Internet and pay your internet bill at just $25 a month. Finally,
I'm trying to copy the link. That's why it's good. Even though I think this one is really cool, I was just thinking that it'd be nice to go through a couple things to try to get like a more holistic view of like how different people implement it. So
yeah,
cool.
I'm so excited for these next 2 weeks. I love making things look pretty. We're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah.
I love fonts.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was the same way. My degree is in like doing web design and all that. So I was like, okay, guys, I got this. I'm leading this. So yeah, I loved it.
nice.
My group, there was someone that was really good at it. And I liked having practice of, because the boot camp, like, you just do things how you want, but having a design already set and having to design to that was new. So even if there's two people that have very different designs and you hate the other one, at least you'll learn how to implement a given design, I guess.
Learn how to work through the rage.
Yeah.
This is so ugly.
I really love building things that somebody designed for me. I was definitely like, I always wanted to be a designer, but and I tried so hard for so many years, but it's definitely like my boss is like a designer, like big time. And so he just like gives me stuff and I just build it. I was like, this is so awesome. I love this.
Although now I kind of want to see like the neon flashy, like late 90s style. So now that we're talking about this, I'm curious how bad you could make it too.
Like the Lisa Frank style.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
That'd be a fun direction to go.
Okay, well, I'm posting in the channel. I'm listed for office hours this week if people are free. And Tim, you're listed as code reviews. I'm happy to help with that too, since you helped cover me. So, but
yeah, totally. I'm not sure like what code will be created this week necessarily, but yeah, happy to share those responsibilities.
Okay.
Yeah, is this supposed to be like design week and next week's the code week, or is it like up in the air?
It's up in the air. I think that's like
Okay.
a smart thing, kind of. But if people want to like make some code, like we're not going to stop you.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Sundays. Lizzie, you still have all day, so.
I do, yeah. It's Mother's Day, so I get whatever I want at my house.
Yay.
Just kidding. Moms don't get days off. We have fun here. Oh no, I'm playing a video. I clicked the link, Lauren. Okay. Hanson, go get a glass of water.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.